Yo, what is up, guys? So we got a fan favorite deck, the Destiny Hero archetype, or just heroes in general, because we're running E heroes, D heroes. But the new Extra Hero Link monster, no one's talking about it. No one sent me in any footage, but I know a lot of you guys like heroes as an archetype. I know it's really popular in the OCG. They got multiple copies of our boy Stratos. Hopefully we'll get that new list soon, and he will be on multiple. But anyways, I got a really good replay to showcase off for you guys, courtesy of Y?. But he actually makes the deck pretty good, and he definitely does make use of the Extra Hero Wonder Driver. So basically, it just lets you reset up a poly, and it lets you use itself and like a D hero as a stepping stone to make other things. Isolde is actually really good. It actually lets you special summon Destiny Hero Dreamer, which actually can come back later down the line, and also it can technically be used as like a stepping stone for other things. In addition to that, Divine Sword Phoenix Blade actually is really good in the deck because it actually works really well. Like, this is like a perfect synergy of the deck. Like, I have not seen anyone build the deck. Look at that, perfect OTK too. And the guy had a Blue Eyes Alternative. So what you can do, and what the powerful turn 1 consistent play that you can potentially do in this deck is to actually have Isolde activate its effect again. You saw like the combo, and I'll go over it once again. But basically, if you guys didn't know what Dystopia does, is if this card special summon, you get to target one Destiny hero that's 4 lower in your graveyard and inflict damage to your opponent. So you burn your opponent for some points of damage. And then during either player's turn, if his attack point is different from its original, you can just pop a card. Let me scroll down. If it's cards for attack, you can destroy it. You can I'll use each effect once per turn. Yeah, you can target one card in the field and destroy it. So basically, it lets you pop a card, and then on top of that, of course, Mask Hero Dark Loss has no to a lot of different plays, and it's really easy to use with Phoenix Blade, which you send to the graveyard for, of course, Isolde's effect, and this lets you just banish it and add it to your hand. So you're gonna have easy access to it. Oh, we'll go over some of the replays again. Most of the stuff is very similar in the sense. This is actually, I think this was a pretty good duel versus the Jack Knights over here. But basically, the whole archetype is, again, revolved around that specific combo. And that's really, I think, the best combo that the deck really does have. So he's just going to go ahead and, once again, go into the Extra Hero Wonder Driver. And then, of course, being able to get out a Malicious over here. Now he's going to be able to set up poly. Oh, there's another bonus effect. I forgot to go over this effect really quick. So, if this card is destroyed by battle or in its owner's possession, so basically whenever Extra Hero goes away, you can special summon one hero monster from your hand. There's no restrictions on that, actually, which is kind of cool. It's just any hero monster. It doesn't have to be like only dark or only got a certain amount of attack. And of course, once again, we're going for Isolde just to go for the Dreamer. The Dreamer is a card. It's like kind of like Necro Guard, like it protects the card and you take no battle damage, and on top of that you get an extra card, so it's like good for so many reasons. The guy is going to go ahead and go for the Scapegoat, and he's just going to go ahead and attack over some tokens because there's really nothing to do at this point. Again, he still has this effect where he can get rid of anything during either player's turn, so this is kind of like the threat card. It's almost like Trigate Wizard. I mean, like, it just gets rid of something, although it can't really stop Regeki. But anyways, he actually has the ability to flip up and get rid of the Dystopia, but Dystopia gets to get rid of the other card, again, during either player's turn now. So we're seeing some crawl. Wait, is this was Jack Knights? Okay, these are crawlers, so wrong archetype. Anyways, staying school kids. Anyways, Destiny Malicious is then going to be summoned. He's going to poly into Vision Hero Trinity, and he's just going to boost that thing up to ridiculous amounts of attack. That was a little bit prank. So during the turn this card was Fusion Stone, its attack is double its original attack, and then this Fusion Stone monster can attack 3 times during each battle phase. And I don't think anything's gonna have over 7,500 attacks. So there's also, like, you know, wombo combo plays with, of course, Vision Hero Trinity, and then on top of that, you know, that's pretty good, 5,000 attack. I mean, it's not too common that you're going to be having Honesty. We'll only play one copy of it, but you can search it out in here. So, like, this combo is technically possible to do if you wanted to go for it. It's there. Technically, you could have boosted up even a little bit higher because this is a warrior, so yeah, he has indeed access to that. I think this one is just like a shutdown play. The guy, he cannot Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of times when you go for this first turn combo, which you can search out heroes really easy. Obviously, if you guys have played heroes, it's pretty easy. Violent lets you go for like Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist lets you add whatever. Pretty consistent combo. Like, this is, again, the bread and butter play of the deck is just to go ahead, set up the poly, go for Isolde. Isolde then lets you go ahead and special summon the Dreamer, and then, well, you don't have to upstart Goblin, but you can always add this card back. You go for the Dystopia guy, obviously you'll have access to this, and then if you have some of the changes cards, the other card, The Xtra hero lets you basically set whatever you need from the graveyard. So you have access to a lot of different options in the deck, and I like decks that have options. This guy bricked pretty hard, but honestly, this is, again, the core combo that you want to be making in this deck is specifically this, and this is going to go ahead and begin. It's just basically to show you guys another variant of a way to technically make the card, or the little combo over here. Now, this one's against Dark Lords. Now, both of them don't really have like an insane turn one, so we see a first turn Dark Lot pass, because he doesn't really want to give his opponent any extra cards, but his opponent still technically draws one off of that. So it's a little bit of a slower duel over here, but a lot of duels, like, they're over within the first 2 turns. But we're on turn 3 this time, so we're activating Polymerization, going to go ahead and go into Dangerous. Of course, the Malicious is going to be there, and he's going to go ahead and banish Malicious to summon another one. Again, with that effect, being able to set one Polymerization, Fusion, Spell, or Change. So it works with the mass changes. But again, this is the main combo that you want to be going for, and he's going to go ahead and poly right back into Dystopia. Of course, his opponent just quits at this point because it's going to be game over. But again, that's like a bread and butter play. So this is actually a really good use of all of the new stuff that D heroes have gotten in the recent past couple updates. But let's go ahead and go to the deck edit for any of you guys that want to build this deck. When I first looked at it, I was like, well, this is really strange. The only suggestion that I have for you guys, I don't know if someone could explain this one to me, because I don't know why he's playing Noble Arms Gallatin. I think that there are better options for other cards in the deck. Technically, you only need to send one. I've seen people do the Bamboo option, so what they would do is go for the Bamboo Sword engine, and obviously get some free advantage with that. But let's get started with the deck profile. This is as you guys saw in the replays, but I'm going to make some suggestions. And in addition to that, I want to say this deck is definitely a first turn oriented deck, so it wants to just go explosive turn 1. If you go turn 2, sometimes you can run into some problems. Now, there was a Twin Twister. I'm not sure if he decided to drop that out completely or whatever he decided to do. But it's a very cool deck, and again, it's cool that we're actually seeing someone make use of it. He's only playing 1 copy of it because, again, I feel like it's like a turn 1 deck. Like, if you just lose this, I want to say you could definitely play 2 copies of Wonder Driver. Just in case one of them goes away, you have options to potentially go for another combo play, because he definitely does have 2 Isolde. But anyways, let's get started with the deck profile. So anyways, first off, we have 1 copy of Elemental Hero, Honest Neo. So this was the card that you saw where it boosts up the monster to absurd amounts of attack. It was really popular, like, to go Stratos into this turn 1 in heroes in the OCG builds that did top a while back. I haven't seen any hero decks recently. There was actually 1 or 2 that topped, but recently they tried something out like super new, but that's a good solid card in heroes. Then you have 3 copies of Malicious, as any D hero deck would have. This deck does not have any Diamond Dude. That was a popular card a while back. I definitely feel like this deck could be one of those decks that you could definitely make use of the Pot of Desires, because again, it's a turn 1 oriented deck. You don't want to banish your Malicious though, but what I'm saying is that after you go for your combo plays, obviously you want to be careful with some of these other cards. You don't want to banish all copies of them, but specifically with Malicious, obviously you can search out the card, so it's pretty easy, or you just send one to the grave, and then obviously you just go through all of them anyway. So it's not that bad for the sake of Malicious, which is, I think, the most important card that you don't want to banish. With the equip cards, you only need 1. It doesn't really matter which one it is. Usually you want this one, though, to go to the graveyard. Therefore, you can add it back. Therefore, you can, of course, go for the Dystopia, being able to pop a card during either player's turn. But next up, we're playing Data Tag. So this card is, I think it's just more of a tech card than anything. But anyways, you can discard it from your hand, and then you can make yourself take no battle damage if you're... whenever you would take battle damage, then each player just takes 1,000 points of damage, and you can banish it from your graveyard, target a Destiny Hero monster, and it gains 1,000 attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that can obviously work quite well, again, with Dystopia, which is like the newer Destiny Hero support that we got a while back. In addition to that, we also got Destiny Hero Dangerous. But for the most part, it's kind of used as a stepping stone. It's a quick effect. You can discard a card to send a Destiny Hero monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and then Destiny Hero monsters you control gain extra attack for extra Destiny Hero. So it can work well with this one, but sometimes you just don't have the option for having both on board, because again, it's a stepping stone. It just lets you kind of go through your deck a little bit faster. With that attack, I think this is more of a tech card, but it can work. Next, I have 2 copies of Celestial. So we didn't see this one in the replay, but whenever this card declares an attack, you target a face-up spell card your opponent controls, you destroy it, and you get a burn your opponent for 500 points of damage. And then when you have no cards in your hand, except for the turn that this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it and 1D hero monster from your graveyard to draw 2 cards. So this is kind of like a comeback mechanic in the deck. Then next up we have 3 Shadow Mist, 3 Vion. It's like the core concept for heroes. This one, whenever it's special summoned, you get to go ahead and add a change quick play. It's usually relevant when you summon it with Summoner Monk, but on top of that, if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add any hero monster. As you guys saw multiple times, it's an effect that you definitely use quite often. Now, Vion just sends one to the graveyard, and then also, once per turn, you get to banish a hero monster from your graveyard to add a polymerization from your graveyard, and then you get to add a polymerization from your deck to your hand. So this one lets you add it from your deck to your hand, and then this one lets you kind of reset the card. Where is it? The Wonder Driver lets you target a polymerization, spell, fusion, or change quick play in your graveyard and add it to your hand. And then next up we have Summoner Monk for, it's pretty much just used for this, but you can go for other things at the right times. It can be more viable. Next up, 3 Ash Forehead, 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, 1 Maxi, triple copies of Dreamer. So this card that I was talking about, we didn't see its secondary effect used. It's just because it was a level 1, but and it's just easy access. But it has another effect that we didn't get to show off. But during damage calculation, if your Destiny Hero monster battles and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, make that monster unable to be destroyed by that battle. If you do, you take no battle damage from that battle. And then if this card was summoned that way, it gets banished when it leaves the field. You can only use its effect once per turn. So basically, it's just like another card you can kind of stall with, plus potentially have another monster out on board that can just be used for like link summons, but more likely it's going to just be the next attack target, because even though the other monster cannot be destroyed by that battle, it's just going to target this one, but more than likely at least. Next up we have triple copies of Allure, 3 copies of Polymerization, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 3 copies of D-Draw, 1 Foolish, 2 copies of Mass Change, 1 copy of Divine Sword, Phoenix Blade, 1 copy of Ray Fusion, and 1 copy of Noble Arms Gallatin. Now, for suggestions, I was actually thinking like Mass Change second could be interesting. Let me go with this. Mass Change. Where's Mass Change number 2? Now, unfortunately, just as a heads up, it will not work on certain things. Obviously, links, they don't have a level, unless there's some other card that treats the card that has having a level. And Exceeds also have a rank, so it's not a level. So it really limits your options, but in the off chance that you might be able to have, like, you could just summon Ghost Ogre, or you can go for a more extensive play, it is technically available. So just keep that in mind. I have seen people run builds with it's Wildheart into Dan. Hold on, Masked Dan is not a card. Oh gosh, it's Masked Hero. I have seen this, it's more popular in the OCG because obviously they have shadows, it makes things much easier. But Wildheart into this is actually pretty good. So you can actually do a lot of different things. Again, this is if you're running Mass Change second as a suggestion. Oh, let me go over the extra deck before I make suggestions. 2 copies of Dystopia, 1 copy of Vision Hero Trinity, 2 copies of Dank Law, 1 copy of Dangerous, 1 Utopia Lightning, and of course Utopia. To make Utopia Lightning, we've got Tornado Dragon, Castell, Abyss Dweller, Decode Talker, Xtra Hero, Wonder Driver. I suggest 2 copies of this. You can drop whatever you want to drop for that, and then double copies of Isolde. So anyways, going back to what I was talking about with Dan, because I played Heroes for like a while back. I haven't played Heroes recently, but I remember seeing this in a OCG deck. But basically there's a lot of OTK potential with this card, because you can attack with you make like your normal play, and then if you can summon another monster, if you go for Wildheart, or it doesn't have to be Wildheart, but just any Earth monster, which you can easily do in just a link deck, just make something that happens to be Earth. But keep in mind, it will have to have a level, but you would use it as a stepping stone. I'm talking about using the other monsters to gain like another summon. You guys know Firewall Dragon can technically be a card, but when it leaves the field you get like another card. Or Skoldeep can give you another summon. There's a lot of cards that give you additional summons. Basically, if you were to go for that play, or I don't think anyone's going to be playing double summon, but you get the idea. Just another summon, or if your opponent doesn't do anything because Dark Law is going to say no, maybe they just go for, I think, a set a card or something like that. But Masked Hero Dan opens up a lot of OTK plays. So Anyways, it must be special summoned with mass change. It cannot be special summoned by other ways. And when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon one level 4 or lower hero monster from your deck. Obviously, there can be a lot of different targets, and you could proc some of the effects when this card is no more special summon, you get to do blah, 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 blah. That can technically be a thing if you're special summoning it, you know, with Summon Monk or whatever the case may be, right? You get a bonus effect. Like I said, it's more relevant with Stratos. I'm just going to mention this just in case we get the ban list relatively soon, and we can modify this deck a little bit, because obviously we're going to be playing our boy Stratos if he comes back. But yeah, there's a lot of other variants with this card to pull off OTKs. Again, with Mass Change second, you have more OTK potential, but keep in mind, Mass Change 2 does require a level. I think, does this one have to have a level? This one doesn't actually have to have a level. Interesting. Okay, maybe there's some more potential with Mass Change that I'm unaware of, but this honestly has been like the best use of, again, the extra hero Wonder Driver, because nobody's talking about it, and he made the deck look really cool, and we're using the Soul Day. It has really good synergy with Divine Sword and Phoenix Blade. Like, this card is like pretty optimal. It just lets you add a free equip. Can be good in some scenarios. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts and suggestions on the deck down below. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and shout out to you again, Y ? for making a really good hero deck that is like a lot different. This is definitely a different way to play heroes with, of course, the new, like, it makes a pretty good turn 1 play. I gotta admit that. The only thing that I really want to suggest, though, also, is having some traps, because if you have, like, if you go for like the standard play, which again, it's usually like Isolde, this, and then you have this equipped so it can pop 1 card. And then obviously you're stopping your opponent from searching. If you have any like Solemn to back this up with, like if we drop some of these other cards and then played in Isolde, not Isolde, it played Desires and like the four Solemn cards, I think this deck could be much more solid. It has a much more consistent like boss turn 1 play. And I also would suggest trying out Regeki and Darkhold, because this is, again, a turn 1 oriented deck. However, I do want to say, because of Dystopia, you have a little bit of potential here to pop that extra card that you just need to get rid of because of whatever effect. And also, this card does stop a lot of other plays, because your opponent can't, like, you know, use a lot of the hand traps. Where's this one? So this, yeah, because it won't hit the graveyard. That's what I wanted to go over. You can, this one you just discard this card. This one, it does say you have to you can send this card to the graveyard, but if you can't send it to the graveyard, good luck with effects. But yeah, just wanted to mention that as a heads up. Just double checking on this one. Yeah. Okay, well, your opponent's not going to be sending a card from the deck to the graveyard, because you'd be Ash Blossoming that anyways. But you guys get the point. There are hand traps to stop some of the plays, but I really think that having the Solemns just as another backup to these, it's just like, it's a done deal. It really secures that turn 1 play. But you guys let me know what you would take out. Like I said, personally, we didn't really even see Celestial. Again, this is like a comeback card. I feel like this deck, it doesn't need a comeback. Again, this is my suggestions, but I would drop those, and then we can obviously add in whatever you guys want to add. I personally don't like this card or this card. I think this card it's just too key in the deck. Heck, you Axe of Despair up in here. I just don't know. I don't know why this card is in here. Again, other Refusion could potentially be an option too. You gotta pay 800 though. Maybe you're playing some of those clays. But anyways, ranting long enough. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, because we're always doing like unique and innovative stuff. Shout out to you again, Y, for sending this in. I'm signing out.